Now, how do you turn your years of experience into a transformational, teachable 3 to 5 process that becomes the backbone of your coaching business? And that's what this episode is about. Now, at the end of this training, you're gonna have a clear name framework that's gonna take your clients from where they are to where they wanna go. And this is gonna give you the confidence that you need to sell whatever you're creating. Now, why does this matter? This is not just a diagram. This is the bridge that's gonna show your clients how you're gonna change their life for the rest of their life. And it shows that you're not just winging it, you're showing up as a professional. And I'm calling you to that level of leadership because that's how we roll. Now, if this is your first time here, this is Professor Daddy Joy. And my goal in this series is to help purpose-driven educators build a soul-aligned business so that they can start living a life of abundance without sacrificing those that matter. Also, don't forget, go ahead to the description section and get your free workbook to follow along with the training because that's where all the goodies are. And I can't wait to hear your goal and insights and nuggets. Drop them in the comment and let's keep on playing. Big up yourself and enjoy the training. Now, the name of the game is Map Your Soul Aligned Signature Framework. Now, this isn't a diagram, this is your map. Yeah, and this would become the map that your clients would use as well, so that they can move from where they are to where they want to be. Now, by the end of this training today, you would have a draft of your signature 3 to 5 step framework. Yeah, plus it's the stages and outcomes that makes your coaching and consulting method tangible, memorable, and marketable. Now, this is where you create IP. Yeah, this is where you productize your expertise. Yeah, make what you have inside of your head, all these years of what, putting it in a form where they can understand. Yeah, and you would be excited of communicating to them. Now, why does this matter? Now, I want to share with you a story, and this was back in 2020, and I want you to picture me sitting on my desk. Yeah, just before a sales call, my notes were scattered, my heart was racing, and I can almost hear the client voice in my head. Like, what is this coaching thing again? And now at that time, most of my clients was actually my past classmates, who I initially reached out to. Yeah, I can even remember how sweaty my palms were, and I felt this tightness in my stomach, and I just felt like I just wanted to shrink. And in my head, yeah, all I'm saying is just say something, just say something. And when the moment came to actually say what my coaching was worth, I blurted out $97. Yeah, for 3 months of coaching. Yeah. And the funny thing about this, after saying that and getting the yes, I should have felt excited, but I walk in and wondering, like, this is how much I'm worth. Is this, what how is it gonna be? And a part of me just felt maybe this is why they're so confused. And I never forget this one moment. I was sitting on my computer and I saw my coach Sean Q presenting. Yeah, and then he pulled out his last slide, and on top of that slide was his framework. And it made everything so clear. And that moment, I got so excited about what he was offering. And I thought to myself, this is exactly what I need. And the crazy part about this, I couldn't even afford his coaching when he set a price, but every cell inside of me wanted to make that payment. Yeah, not because of the hype, not because he had slick sales skill, but because this is the first time I actually saw a map that was going to take me in 2020 where it was to actually creating my business. Yeah, I saw the exact steps that I need to get the thing that I most desired in that moment. Yeah. And if I can feel that way about someone else's roadmap, the question in my head was, how can I create that same effect for my clients? Yeah, and that was my breakthrough. Yeah, coaching isn't about session. It's about showing people the bridge. And I want to say that again. Coaching isn't about session. It's about showing people the bridge. Because clients don't buy your time. They buy the map. They buy the outcome. They buy the results that they want. Yeah. And the thing is, when I created my first framework, yeah, everything becomes simpler. Yeah. Presenting what the value that I offer becomes simpler. In a few steps, Yeah, the sales calls become easy and I stopped feeling this anxiety in my stomach and I wasn't fumbling my value. I was talking people through a process. I felt grounded, I felt confident, and for the first time I knew I can raise my fees because I wasn't just selling sessions, I was selling a system. Yeah, I was selling a system that I know is going to make a difference in my client's life. And then I couldn't unsee these framework anymore. Yeah, I start seeing them all over the place. Whether you see them in Venn diagrams, you see them in quadrants, you see them in pyramid. Yeah, you start see them all over the place. And the truth is, this is how leaders codify their wisdom into a map. Yeah, we have been doing this for eons. Yeah, all the way back to the caveman days. Yeah, we would draw pictures, yeah, on the wall, guiding people on how they need to navigate some of the struggles that they have in their life. Yeah, and we should use these same tools as well. Yeah. And when I start sharing this process with my clients lit up. Yeah, they got super excited about each phase and they stayed engaged because they can see the progress that they're making. Yeah, at the end of every session, they know what's coming next. And sometimes you would think that, okay, if I create this framework, won't this be boxing in my client? Well, the beautiful thing about a framework is that even though it gives you a map, sometimes there's detours. Yeah, and as a professional coach and consultant, yeah, you would have the skills to be able to, yeah, navigate them around that. And the map, as I said, yeah, is the GPS to everything that you're creating. Yeah, and this will make sales feel even more effortless. And the reason why this matters today, because when you have a framework, yeah, you stop selling coaching and you start selling a transformation. Yeah, you stop selling coaching and you start selling a transformation. And there's three keys of a soul aligned framework. And I want you to take note of this. The first thing is they're simple and they're visual. Yeah, they're simpler and it's visual. It's so simple, your client should be able to explain it to someone else. Yeah, you can explain it in as little as 2 minutes. And also, it is tied to your clients before and after. Yeah, meaning where they are now and where they want to go. And also, it's aligned with your philosophy. Yeah, that's what makes this so interesting. It's not something that you just pluck out of thin air. It's from your own lived experience. And one of the reasons why many people struggle with this as well is that they overcomplicate it. Yeah, they either put too much steps inside and they make it super vague. We want to keep this as simple and stupid as possible. So simple, 6-year-old can figure it out. Like if you can explain it to a kid, if you can show your framework to a kid and explain it to a kid, that's when you know you have it. Okay, so the idea is to make it as simple as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. Now, the first activity we have here, yeah, and I want you to, if you can bring up the workbook on your computer, that would help for this entire session, is that I want you to write your client's starting point, yeah, which is there before, and their end point. And I want you to take 3 minutes to do this. On top of the slide here, you see I have a diagram, and on the bottom, you have away from and towards. So the before is the place where they want to move away from. Yeah, that's their before point. And then towards is their after point. Okay, I have an example here on top of the slides. So the away from, they want to move, clients want to move away from being overwhelmed and lacking direction. And they want to move towards being a high performing leader. Okay, so you have 3 minutes. Okay, awesome. Now that you know where your clients are moving away from and what they're moving towards, the rest becomes super easy. So as you see, I have here overwhelm and lacking direction, and my clients will be moving towards being a high performing leader, being a high performer overall. Now, the autonomy of a great framework, yeah, has name. Yeah, each step has a name. It has a sequence, meaning they how to say, each step is connected to the other. And also you have a clear outcome. Okay, and I want to show you an example here. So, as I said, for this exercise, outcome overwhelm and lacking direction. Now, in step one, yeah, if I'm going to get them to be in a high performer, the first thing that they need to do is become clear about their leadership identity. Yeah, that's the very first thing. Clarity is super important. Yeah. And okay, there's a typo error, but step two is now, helping them generate more energy. So we got to lock in their energy protocol. Yeah, because if you're going to perform at a higher level, yeah, we need energy to drive this entire engine. And step three is now their courage checklist. Yeah, high performing leaders, they are short, bold, and confident. Yeah, in the world that they're in. Yeah, so I gotta show them how to leverage the power of courage. And step four is productivity. Yeah, helping them identify what are the routines that are causing them to fall off course and what are their key priorities right now. Yeah, that way we can avoid the overwhelm and the burnout so that they can focus on what's important. And finally, developing an influence strategy. High performers are extremely influential in the way how they shop with their family and the people at work. And I believe that if they complete all of these steps, they're gonna become a high performing leader. And this becomes a practice, it's a process. Yeah, so it's even though I'm doing it here linear as an exercise, this is something that is more of a, it's more of a how should I put it? A cycle. Yeah, it's more of a spiral. It's a dance through all of these different layers. Okay. So as I said, the autonomy of a great framework, yeah, it has names, a sequence, and it has outcomes. Now here's another example. This is the one for the ECBA, yeah, burnout educators restricted by the school system. So the first step is clarity of niche and their CEO identity. Yeah, the first thing that needs to change is that, who you identify as. You need to start stepping in to being a CEO and not just a teacher, not just a coach. Yeah, and you need to have clarity of the people that you serve. Also, the next is now you got to prioritize your expertise. And once you've prioritized your expertise, you got to be able to package and sell that expertise. So you need to have a sales system in place. And once you've sold that, you need to onboard your clients. And then we have the marketing bit because people need to know about you, right? You got to be visible. You got to have a strategy for being visible. And even though you've built all these systems, yeah, we need something to activate the system. Yeah, hence the next step would be to have a launch strategy. And if you follow these steps, yeah, consistently, yeah, you would create what I deem to be a soul aligned business. And as I say, it's a process. Yeah, and as you work the process works for you. Now, this is going to be your activity. What are the steps needed to bridge the gap between where your clients are and where they desire to be? Okay, now that you have created a rough draft of your framework, yeah, you know where your clients are before they work with you. You know where they're moving towards, and then you have these steps or these modules or these phases that they need to move through so that they can get to where they are. Now, using AI as a copilot, this can help to refine the wording and even give you more, ideas of how you can build out this framework. You can use this exact prompt. You're a brand specialist. My client starts at and just type in whatever you came up with their starting point, and the end at, type in the information that you have, the milestone, type in your exact words because you want to bake your vibe, your energy into what you're creating, and ask it, create 3 to 5 step framework, name each, plus 1 to 2 sentence stage promise. And Joy did that really, really well. She gave each of her stage a name and she gave an explanation as to what happens at that particular stage. Okay. Now, extra points. Now that you have each of these phases, yeah, you can turn it into a picture. Remember, as I told you in my story, as I create my first framework, I start seeing these over and over again. Now, for the ECBA framework, I try and create a ship. Yeah, that was what I was going for. So it became an upside down pyramid. Yeah, it's visual and it's something that you can easily remember. Yeah, other frameworks, you can see them as a Venn diagram where there are circles. Yeah, love, skills, needs, money. And other frameworks, maybe they're triangles. Yeah, maybe they're quadrants. Okay, and what you want to do for this segment is just when you say your framework, when you say the steps are the milestone, what does that feel like to you? Does it feel like a pyramid? Does it feel like a Venn diagram? And whatever your heart says, just use that picture. Yeah, turn your framework into a visual that makes it easy for your clients to remember. Pyramid, Venn diagram, quadrants, triangles, be creative. Okay, don't limit your creativity here. This is where you're in your creative process. So that means it's not the final draft. Now, tangible outcome versus intangible outcome. Now, when you're also naming your framework, you want to think about what is the outcome that the client is getting at each step. Yeah, because client don't buy time. Yeah, they buy results. So some tangible outcome can be deliverables. This can be workbooks. This can be plans. This can be scripts. Intangible, yeah, I hear a lot of the intangible comes from you guys a lot, where you talk about feelings, identity, is it confidence, clarity, calm, peace, flourishing. Okay, so I wanted to start to think about what are also some of the tangible things that is included at each stage in the framework as well that helps the process to become even more easy. So these can be doc workbooks, frame templates, plans, or scripts. Now here's your exercise. Yeah, inside of your ECBA mapping framework workbook, I want you to fill out the table in the workbook. Okay, you're gonna put all the steps, name the steps, and put a one sentence promise for each of the outcome. And when you write the one sentence, yeah, you can use this prompt. By the end of this step, you will and put in what happens at the end of this particular step. Okay, so if your step one is clarity, by the end of this clarity, what would they become clear about? Yeah, so I heard Nan mention that they'll understand the autonomy or structure of a personal statement. Yeah, by the end of this step, you would understand the structure and the autonomy of a personal statement that universities are looking for. Yeah, whatever that is. Okay, so go to your workbook. There's a table there, and you want to fill out that table. Okay, now you have named each of your steps. Yeah, and at this point, I know it may be a bit, to get those creative juice sparking. However, this is your first draft, and that is perfectly fine. And you've also created a promise, yeah, communicating the value of each step. That would make your client super excited. Yeah, and the thing is, now we need to name your framework. Yeah, now you have yeah each stage. You have given them a name, given them a brief description. Yeah, we want to name it. And the thing about what makes a name stick, your name needs to be short, it needs to be memorable and easy to say. Yeah. It needs to make people feel something. And it needs to be also aligned with your transformation. Okay, so as I'm sharing this, start to think about, okay, what is a name that I can give to my framework that is one, memorable? It makes your client feel something and it aligns with transformation. Now, names can be, there's three types of names styles when it comes to naming a framework. The first is metaphor based. Yeah, this is use imaginaries, imagery that represents transformation. Okay. And an example can be the lighthouse path. Yeah, recently I created a new coaching framework. I'm calling that the soul debug method. Yeah, being an engineer myself, yeah, and then being, quite spiritual. I've always been very passionate about spirituality. So I try to bring those two things together. Another example here is the Phoenix process. Yeah, this is where you get to be creative. This is where you create your own IP. Yeah. And a prompt that you can think about when you're creating a metaphor-based name is what object, journey, or image describe your client's change. Yeah, it can even be the butterfly method. Yeah. One thing that came up when I had our initial session, Deidre, you said something that really resonated with me. You said that you want to create the perfect human. And I'm like, well, sign me up. Yeah. So, and these are words that you have been using, but sometimes you may not be paying attention to it. Okay, so think about these metaphors or imagery, yeah, that you can use to create a name for your framework. Okay, also your name outcome based. It highlights the result or the promise of your process. An example can be the Ball 90 framework, yeah, the freedom blueprint, the aligned business method. Yeah. And a prompt that you can use to think about this would be if your client only remember the outcome, how would you name it? If your client only remember the outcome, how would you name it? And the final type of names, oh, Okay, this one was supposed to be identity based, okay, which is focused on who the client becomes. Okay, so we have the metaphor based, outcome based, and the identity based. An example, the CEO shift, the messenger path, the soul led method. And here's the prompt that you use to think through this. What identity shift does your client embody at the end? Yeah, what level of identity are you calling them to? Okay. Now, thinking about these three different naming systems, I want you to take your draft of your framework, the steps that you already have, and write down three possible names, one from each of the naming style. One metaphor, one outcome, one identity. Okay, I'll be placing you in breakout rooms and you're gonna share your options with your partners. Okay, you take some time, you'll just brainstorm these names, you have 5 minutes, and the partner will share which one they feel that they'll remember. Okay, I'll give you 7 minutes. One metaphor based name, one outcome based name, and one identity based name. Have fun with ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, whatever AI tool you use. Okay, and use this prompt. Imagine that you have 20 years of experience naming transformational framework. Here's my framework. Yeah, you put the exact information that you just shared here. Yeah, and insert the step and the outcome for each. I then ask it to give me 10 name ideas in 2 to 4 words. Use a mix of metaphor, outcome, and identity styles. Okay, and see what comes up, choose one, yeah, and share it with the group. And maybe there's one that would just resonate with you. You can just pick that one and go with it. And the beautiful thing is you can try it on for 90 days. If after 90 days it sticks, yeah, then you keep on going. If not, you can change it. Okay. Now here is this week level 4 level up challenge. This is your offer forge. The boss that you're beating is the doubt in your value. The identity that you unlock is the alchemist. Yeah, for this entire session, we have been alchemizing your expertise. Okay, so your mission would be to record a 90-second video and pitch your framework like you're telling a friend. Okay, record it. You don't even need to share it. Okay, but you need to practice sharing what you've just created. Just pull out your camera, yeah, look at it, and share your framework in 90 seconds as if you're recording it with your friends. And this is important because when you can speak your purpose out loud, you claim authority. When you can speak your purpose out loud, you claim authority. And this is what builds confidence during the sales process. Yeah. And here's your quick win. Yeah. Share one by the end of this step sentence in the group. Okay. Yeah, you can share one of your steps name and share by the end of this step, blah, 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 in the group. Okay. Now, guys, you have just unlocked module 4 where you mapped your signature framework. Now that we have the core of your entire offer, yeah, that's going to make module 5 even more easy. This is where we're going to package this into a premium offer where we're going to price it and you're going to also map out your delivery model. So that way, you know exactly what you need to do to deliver results to your clients. Yeah, and this is going to be super exciting and you're going to have a lot of fun doing this. Now, this is a major key. Your framework is your business backbone. It's not just steps, it's your client story of transformation. Yeah, this is the thing that now they'll be able to explain to people what actually happened during the coaching or consulting process. Yeah, make it visual, make it memorable, and people would trust that you can take them there. Guys, just want to remind you of the promise. Yeah, we're building a soul-aligned business without burnout. And here, yeah, you can see my framework. Yeah. Mine's is an upside down pyramid. As I said, make it visual so that way you can remember it. And this is the ECBA experience. Yeah.
Now, if you make it all the way to the end, it means you're enjoying the trading. So be honest. Go ahead and let me know what was your biggest insight, as well as leave a comment and tell me what is your next big step. If you're watching this train and you're not taking action, it means you're just like everybody else. And I know that's not you. You were born to lead. You were born to make a difference. So let's do the thing, man. Also, grab the workbook. Yeah, because that's where the action is. And that's why I put every single thing that you need to do so that you can build a soul-aligned business. New episode every week. Check out the things, man. Sunday, 7 p.m. China time. Yeah, and see you on the next episode.